All
All
right,
right,
we're live.
cool. Well, welcome everyone, and thanks for joining today's session. This is the first of hopefully many future webinars hosted by our team of Salesforce consultants here at Apex IT. My name is Jillian, and I'm a senior Salesforce architect here at Apex, and I'll be your host today. And for our topic today, if you've ever heard your sales teams say, I'll log it later, only for that conversation or update or task to just never make its way into Salesforce, you are not alone. Disconnected tools and missed follow ups are slowing down teams everywhere. And that's why today's topic couldn't be more timely. We have my colleague Corey here to talk about why every sales team needs a Salesforce and Outlook integration. Corey has seen firsthand, and he knows that the right integration can rescue sales deals from slipping through the cracks. So thanks for being here today, Corey. Do you want to give a little introduction of yourself and some background on why this topic is so top of mind for you?
Thank you, Jillian. Yes, I come across this use case um, a fair amount of times, and it is a use case that is an easy implementation and very, very helpful. So a lot of times in business, you're looking for ways to implement easy wins and with good bang for your buck, and that's what I do. I've been doing that for Apex IT for 5 years now, coming up on 5 years, and various different industries and lots of different orgs that have their own unique um, requirements. And it's great when we can find use cases that is applicable across the board, no matter where you're coming from. And this is one of those. We have stood this up in high FedRAMP instances, very tight and stringent security. We've also done it with brand new orgs, the set it up on the within the very first baby steps of their beginnings. So yeah, I'm excited to jump into more of that right now. Gonna share a few slides on this topic. Um, Thankful to be speaking with you all today. Let's see here. I'm going to talk about a little bit about security and compliance. I'm going to talk about the integration itself. And then also I'm going to mention Einstein activity capture, because a lot of times it comes up in conversations and we want to know the distinction between the two. And just depends on what your goals are for your particular organization. And then some frequently asked questions at the end. And we're very easy to reach for additional questions. And Jillian and Paige are in the background. They'll be managing Q&A if we have that enabled. Or like I said, you can always reach out to us afterwards. Um, the the big points on security compliance is that it's going to be dependent on your Microsoft instance and your Salesforce instance. Now, there was a change done not that long ago where last year Microsoft is changing how they have access to their apps. And that did affect Salesforce, especially the legacy integration. There were two integrations for Salesforce, Outlook to Salesforce. There was an old one, and then we have the current one. The current one is called literally that, uh, Outlook to Salesforce integration. So that particular phrase, if you look up in the Salesforce help documentation, you can see any updates that they have. Salesforce does a great job of keeping us updated on any security changes. They have the highest standards in the world when it comes to SaaS tools, and organizations all across the world trust Salesforce, and Microsoft is, of course, a big player in that as well. Um, like I had said, a lot of very high FedRAMP security instances are happy with this particular integration, and I believe that you will be too. I can give you additional documentation links at the end for more detailed information that your team may want to know, but I won't bore you with all the details here today. The integration itself looks like this. Your Outlook can be on a desktop application, or it may be online in a browser. And so there is a slight difference upon the look and feel. Um, Outlook also has a new version of Outlook, and they also have the classic version of Outlook. But generally, it's gonna be like this, right? You've got your panel on the left-hand side for your folders. You got your messages in the middle, and maybe a preview pane, or maybe you open a brand new window for the emails that come in. And on the far right-hand side is like a plugin or an app that is connected to your Salesforce org, and it can be connected to any org that you want. It could be a sandbox, right? So make sure you get this tested out thoroughly before you would do any major changes in production. Make sure you do proper testing first. But this is a very easy implementation, and a lot of people don't take advantage of it. I will show you a live version of this beyond this screenshot, but I just wanted to show you um, what it looks like from there. And then on the Salesforce side, when you log into your org, you'll be able to see the activities marked or emails marked, just like you would um, actually in that side panel pane view as well. So I had asked earlier, I had asked the host, Jillian, to send me a test email, which she did. And it came into my inbox, and you can see the side panel here. And she is not listed as a contact in my Salesforce. And so if I wanted to add her email address to that, it's very easy to do. You can set up the fields how you want in this panel, exactly how you want it to look and feel. And maybe, I had put here, today's task. Looks like I've been working hard and I don't have any today, but you could have any number of components here that could be helpful for your particular org. Maybe there's a calendar, maybe you have a certain custom object you want to show, um, whatever the case might be. You can log, be specific on what you log as well. Um, for example, if you wanted to pick and choose only certain types of attachments, instead of automatically attaching everything, you want to be careful of storage in your org. You don't need to attach, all of the signatures necessarily, right? Um, you can also choose where you're saving it, of course. Maybe I have a particular opportunity that Jillian is now going to be tied to, and every time, if I have Jillian tied as a contact role on the opportunity, it would actually be on the related list here automatically. it'll automatically bring up all the opportunities that she would be related to. Perhaps she's a decision maker for a couple opportunities, and then you can pick and choose which opportunity that you want to tie this email to. And you would select either one. If it's just one, then you'll just automatically do it. Very helpful. This, is about increasing speed for synchronization. What's different, I'll get into more of the differences between these two, but um, the main perks here is that this is for companies that are not wanting to implement a bunch of different functionality related to their activities. They just have the basic Salesforce license, and they would like to sync their emails, and they don't want to have to do really anything too cumbersome. This is a good step for them to do. Perhaps they want to pick and choose which emails that they want to put into the org instead of automatically taking all the emails that come in. That is different than some other tools like Einstein Activity Capture, where Einstein actually will automatically capture all of your emails. So you really want to be part of a larger plan when you have this particular feature. This is not a standalone feature per se. This is part of an overall package. This is best if you're having a plan for using Tableau CRM analytics in your org, and you're wanting to make sure you get every detail. Maybe you're getting dozens and dozens of emails per user, all at any time of the day, and so the picking and choosing is just not an option for you. And you also have a plan for taking advantage of the other Einstein features that may be available. And so just know that these really are two different um, goals and two different. This is an extra license. Usually, it's tied in with other additional licensing as well. There are a couple other features that are different that run in the same lane as well. Another one you may have heard of, email a case. Again, that is a different feature, right? That is a more standard feature. So what's nice about working with a partner is that we can help you navigate all the different use cases that you have, which feature would be best for your organization. And that will allow you to make good financial decision to get your best return on investment. Also, you have to think about who is going to maintain all of this going forward. You want to think about your privacy, GDPR, all of your compliance rules. There's a lot of different components that can fit into this that's outside of just implementing a tool. You want to think about your overall business processes, your overall maturity level as a company, and take that all into consideration to make a good foundational plan going forward. I bring up some of these frequently asked questions, and a lot of people want to know, can we send the email back from Salesforce to Outlook? And really, there's a question behind the question usually, and that's what I usually want to ask. I want to ask, well, what are you trying to accomplish by putting an email back into Outlook? Are you just trying to notify the user? Are you trying to manage the thread of the conversation? Are you wanting to notify a coworker, forward it on because they're not in Salesforce, or really you want to understand the question that's behind the question? So can we do X, Y, Z? You likely can, because Salesforce is very customizable, very malleable. Perhaps you want to build a flow that wants to jump through all the hoops of what you're wanting to accomplish, but you also want to think about not just the use case that is right in front of you. You want to think of foundation for all of your departments. You want to think of what's scalable, how you're maintaining that going forward, and you really just want to be bulletproof for whatever the future lays ahead. Um, I have a few minutes here available towards the end for any other additional questions. And I think this wraps up my presentation for Outlook to Salesforce integration.
Cool. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think we have a few questions that we can discuss. Um, I think to start, like just to sort of set the stage on expectations of what this would look like for an implementation, right? I think that it might be easy to assume that this is just enabling via like a technical toggle. I'm just going to configure a few settings and then my job here is done and magic happens. But what are maybe some of the common misconceptions that happen during implementation, or where do you see teams struggle?
Yeah, great question. And that's what we see all the time. Perhaps you have a tool like this that you want to set up and you're able to do it in a day, right? The integration. All right, team, go, right? And a lot of times we'll get called in because perhaps user adoption was not that high. And there's a lot of change management that can go into a new tool or a new feature. People don't just automatically use something, right? You have to give them the step by step. So, for example, you may want to have some documentation that's great for the change management. They need to see, oh, how do I open the side panel in Outlook? Do I need to install the plugin? Or as a company, are you going to roll it out to all the Outlook? And is the app automatically going to appear? Did you customize the side panel how you want it to be to best fit your users? Right? Is it really going to be helpful for them? Maybe they don't need opportunity object at all. They don't even know what that is, right? And you need to have the objects that are related to your particular users. And so part of that is the difference between configuration and overall uh, business process modeling of, do you understand what the overarching goal is? The goal is to speed up the synchronization of activities. Are you wanting to do that because you're wanting better reporting on your activities on a particular object? And if we know that that is the goal, then really you're not doing just a Outlook integration. You're also going to be setting up some reports, right? And you're also may need to customize that side panel, and you may need to create some documentation showing people step by step on how to go through that flow. Um, so I hope that answers your question, and people
Yeah.
think about beyond just the clicks.
Yeah, it's kind of like encouraging the mindset of if it's not in Salesforce, then it didn't happen. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Classic.
Um, so, you've mentioned, I think we've talked a lot about the fact that it's not just about syncing data, right? It's more about like collaboration and visibility. Um, so with those benefits in mind, can you share an example where this like transformation has really just clicked for a client and has had a lot of impact?
Yeah. Not that long ago, there were several users that hated Salesforce. And we asked them, hate's a very strong word. What? Tell me, what's going through your mind. And they started bringing up some pain points about being able to log their activities, right? And then being able to report on those said activities. So what was happening was that the users were having to figure out what their activities were because it was just sitting in Outlook. And then they got to log into Salesforce. And then they got to find their activity. And then they got to figure out what was said and kind of do this back and forth dance between different apps, different tools, and try to log it. And of course, they didn't do this until it was 30 minutes before the manager meeting, perhaps your end of the month review. And so it was frustrating for the users, it's frustrating for the managers. And really, we were able to look at not just a tool, but we were looking at the overall process. And so we were able to, one of the steps was to create this integration. And then the other steps, like I'd mentioned earlier, because it was very top of mind, is to set up some reports. And we had a couple of flows actually that sent off some notifications to some additional team members. For example, if one opportunity was very important and for whatever reason somebody was out of the office, sick, whatever the situation is, maybe they were not even with the company anymore and someone just forgot about this opportunity until the end of the month, right? But instead we had a flow set up to where it send off a notification to a queue of a team that realized, oh my goodness, this opportunity is being ignored. It's been 2 weeks. This is a very important one. And we wouldn't have thought about it till the end of the month, right? So it's just things like that that really allowed the users, then all they had to do was open their Outlook, click apply the activity, and then that already set in motion some other steps in the background that allowed their report to just be automatic. And they came to the meeting with the managers at the end of the month, and the managers were not stressed because they knew that the activities were there, and the users were not stressed because they weren't frantically trying to get all these details together before the meeting. And so then it automatically gained, stickiness in the adoption.
Mm. Yeah, that story sounds all too familiar. And it brings up a good point, right? Like if your users feel like Salesforce is making their lives harder, then you've done something wrong, right? And you should take a look at how you've implemented because it should make their lives easier, not harder. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I think given what you've shared with us today, everyone probably agrees that like an Outlook integration for your Sales Cloud environment is kind of a no-brainer, right? But beyond just this starting point of this Outlook integration, are there any other like future enhancements or other best practices that you think teams should start preparing for?
That's a great point. Now that we've, for example, been able to capture activities, let's say you're going to use Einstein activity capture. And now you're going to have a whole plethora of different capabilities that you didn't have before because you're going to have Agent Force as a team member that's going to help you every step along the way. It's going to be able to, once you have your activities captured automatically, perhaps you can get some next step recommendations from Agent Force. There's a lot of great use cases that are available now that were not available to us even a couple of years ago, right? So you might want to take the time to review some of these capabilities for your particular instance. You don't want to have to do a whole bunch of rework. You want to avoid landmines, big mistakes. And we've been through the fields and we can be on the other side of the field and tell you, okay, let's go, you go this way, avoid that landmine, keep coming. And we can basically help you get to where you want to be. Some of these capabilities you've heard online, you're wondering, how do I implement this? And that's what we're here for. So reach out to us by email. You can go to our website, apexit.com, contact us there, and we'd be happy to set up a call with you, a discovery call, just to see what your needs are, where you're at in your journey, and you can be able to make a plan going forward.
Cool. Well, thanks, Corey, and thank you to all of our viewers. Make sure to follow Apex IT on LinkedIn too to catch invites to any of our upcoming webinars. Our next webinar in particular is a topic that I think is wicked cool and like really top of mind for everybody right now. So if you are like most organizations who are struggling to figure out where data cloud fits into your strategy and your roadmap and how you're going to get started with data cloud, you won't want to miss our next webinar. So be sure to check it out.
Really interested in that, Jillian. Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone.